Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. I have been telling you that we were going to do a video about the baby Deorr case. Baby Deorr was a little boy that went missing in Idaho several years ago. Well, one of my subscribers, Carrie, has done a lot of research on this case. So she is coming on right now, and we are going to do this video for you and provide you with as much information as we can. Hi, Carrie. Welcome.
You froze. Hello,
Please.
you're like completely frozen. I can't hardly hear you.
Well, I don't know. It's recording, so it's not live. It's recording. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll catch up in a second. You're not. Your lighting is really good. Am I still frozen now? Am I good now?
No, you're better now.
Okay, yeah, good. So I just did like a little intro. I'm sure I can go back and hopefully edit some of this, but we'll just kind of play it out as best as possible. We are going to talk about the baby Deorr case. So Carrie has done, and like I said, this works just like a live stream, except for we're recording it instead. So then we'll just put it out there, later on, and post it as a premiere when we can both be there in the chat to watch it. Okay. So you probably want to just listen to me through this and not. I hear like an echo. Do you have two devices on or something? I don't know.
No, just the phone.
Okay. And you got your Left Undone t-shirt on. Sweatshirt, t-shirt? Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
T-shirt.
Nice. Cool. Thank you. I always forget to put mine on, which is really stupid because I like my tank top the best. That's my favorite one. I have the hoodie, sweatshirt, and the tank top and the t-shirt. And my favorite is the tank top. Probably because I'm always hot, especially here, now that I live in the desert. So I'm going to pull it up over here so that when I share the screen, we can go to the email. But I'm going to pull up my email that has the outline and stuff that you sent. Carrie. Two older messages. Okay, yeah, this is the Word document that you put on here. Let me move it so it's not in front of my screen. So I think basically you should just tell us before we go in, because I think what we should do is talk about the case, like the fact that baby Deorr went missing, where and when, and then we will talk about the people of interest, interest to us clearly, and probably interest to a lot of enforcement. And then we will, go from there to the links and the baby Deorr website and all that stuff. So you kind of guide it because you're the expert on this case, way more than me or anybody else.
Well, okay. I kind of got it in order.
Yeah, just tell it. Yeah, just go for background of the case first. Like what happened, who's baby Deorr, and when did he go missing and where?
Well, baby Deorr was 2 years old when he went missing in January 10th, 2015, in the Timber Creek campground just outside of Litter, Idaho. And he was with his parents, Jessica Mitchell and Vernal Deorr Kunz Jr., her grandpa, Robert Walton, and his friend, Issac Winwand.
Issac. Okay. R-E-I-N-W-A-N-D. Got it. Mm-hmm. And there's a bug. It's going to fly in front of the camera. So the mom is Jessica, and she is, people have put a lot of suspicion on Jessica. since this has all gone down, what year was it? 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
2015. We know that Jessica, from what the notes that you've sent me, she gave up her 2 children from her previous marriage, right? So the dad had custody of them. It kind of makes you go, wait, that's weird. She's a mom. She has another kid. Our kid's inconvenient to her. That's kind of what goes through my mind when I think about that statement. What do you think about that?
Yeah, she says she gave them up because they couldn't afford them. But from her, some person, I don't know who they are to them, but they know them, said that she gave them up because she didn't want to take care of them. They wanted to spend their money on themselves and just, be able to be free. And her mom even said that too, that they wanted to be free and like she just wanted to be free and just be with Vernal Deorr Sr. Just be with them and be free and spend the money on themselves and not on the children.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because, there's resources. I mean, there are. I mean, maybe you're not going to be able to get your kids every, thing that they want if you're poor, but there's resources. So you can clearly find help to keep them clothed, to keep them fed, to keep them in a bed, all that stuff is available. And I know that because I help people every day with resources. So it's not really about money to take care of them as much as it would be more money to have for yourself for other things. That's how I look at that. Now, I don't really know anything about it. I'm not really biased one way or another, but as a mother, sometimes I'm thinking, I fought tooth and nail in my divorce I wanted full custody of my kids. I wound up getting 50-50, which was okay because they deserve to be with their dad too. But at the same time, I don't want anybody else to have my kids ever, so that's that to me, that gives me a little bit of what feeling about Jessica just from the get-go. Now you said the only job she ever had at the time was Bob's caretaker for a year. Bob is her grandfather, right?
Yes.
So she took care of her grandfather for a year. That was the job. That was the only job she's ever had. She's never gone to work. She didn't work at McDonald's. She didn't work at the library. She didn't go to school. Nothing.
Well, that's the only job she had, but now she has another one because I happened to stumble across her profile on Facebook when I was trying to find something out about somebody else. I was connected to this case somehow, and apparently she is a med tech at an assisted living in Idaho Falls. I can't remember the name of the thing.
So she did get a little bit like a 6-week course somewhere doing something or being trained on the job. Interesting. Okay. But then back then, before baby Deorr, she didn't have a job, but she did take care of grandpa. Okay.
Yeah, because apparently she couldn't hold down a job.
Oh, okay. Now mom, Jessica, believes that baby Deorr wandered away and passed away in the mountains near the campsite. That's been her story from the beginning?
Yeah, that's been her story. But then if you look on her Facebook page, she's like thinking he's still alive.
Oh, really?
And that they might find him someday. Like flip-flops between that and he's still alive and find him someday. I read that somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it was.
Oh, interesting. Okay, where's this campsite? I think I want to try to pull up and share the screen so we can pull it up on here. What's the name of the campsite?
Timber Creek.
Timber Creek? Okay.
Yes.
Ground. Leodore, Idaho. Okay, that's it. Map. Okay, well, I'll share this first. This is just some pictures of the campground. So let me share this. Share screen and Chrome tab. Okay, so first I just go through some pictures here that I found at the campground. So it looks definitely like remote area up in the mountain-ish area. Creek.
Yep.
So these are just random pictures that show up when you Google Timber Creek campground. And then let's see if we can find a map. Here we go. So I like the satellite view better. Kind of shows the remoteness of it. So this is the road. I've heard people talk about the road. Was it Nate or somebody that drove in there? One of the news reporters that drove in there and was like, it's a really bumpy road and it's really like one way in, one way out. So is this 422 what they're talking about with this loop here?
Yeah, and it's kind of like a cul-de-sac thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can go off another way so you can get to the higher campground because there's two different sections of the campground, and they stayed in the lower part, and there's like a higher part.
Okay.
Somehow you go off to the higher part.
Okay. Quigley Creek, Main Fork, Timber Creek. So Timber Creek must be the creek that it's named after. So it runs right through here. But it's not like it's a big river. It's a creek.
Mm-hmm.
Timber Creek campground right here. Yeah, so it's a pretty remote area. And they stayed at what, the top, the lower or the upper, you said?
The lower.
What's that? Forest Road. Okay. Yeah, okay, so there's with somebody comments. They said, this is a beautiful place. The road going in is long and bumpy. And even if you go slow, it's rough, but worth the trip. So many beautiful things to see. The main road entering the canyon needs some attention, lots of rain-related potholes. Okay, so it's pretty rugged to get in there. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing that. And then oh, good. So okay, so that's interesting. So I'm going to go back to that email again so we can talk about the people. So that's where they were, and or so they say that's where they were, because that's where the police came out to look for baby Deorr. Okay.
Yep.
So then we also have Deorr Kunz Jr., which is baby Deorr.
Yep.
He was 2 years old. He disappeared on July 10th at the Timber Creek campground. Some other people believe he already had disappeared on July 8th in Idaho Falls and never reached the campground. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's people think that he didn't reach it, that something happened when they had dinner with their aunt and cousin. That he on the 8th that something happened and he never made it to the campground. That was just the cover story so they could get rid of him because something happened.
Okay, so that's another one of the theories that's been out there. Mm-hmm. And then Vernal is Jessica's husband at the time, the dad, the biological father of baby Deorr, and Vernal is the dad. Ex-fiance. Now ex-fiance. So they were never married.
No, they were engaged and they were going to be married shortly after the camping trip.
Okay.
About a month or so after they were doing the camping trip.
Okay, but they never wound up getting married. Okay.
No, they broke up.
Okay. And he was a truck driver, a car detailer, and he believes that baby Deorr was abducted from the campsite. And you made this comment here. He said at one point he trusted Jessica 100%, and eventually he said he lost trust in Jessica.
Yes.
So they turned on each other.
Yeah, they turned on each other.
Okay. And then there was Grandpa Bob Walton, Jessica's grandpa. And that's who Grandpa Bob was that she took care of. So did she take him camping because she had to, because she takes care of him?
Her mom asked her to go to make sure Grandpa was okay because they didn't believe that Issac could take care of him if something happened. So apparently, it was just supposed to be him and Issac, but his daughter got worried and wanted Jessica to go to make sure he'd be okay.
Okay, so Grandpa Bob and friend Issac were supposed to go camping together without anybody extra. And Jessica's mom, who is the daughter of Grandpa Bob, said, Jessica, go with your grandfather. You guys go camping with him to watch him and take care of him. Make sure nothing happens. Right? That's what you're saying? Okay. Now, at that time, he was 76 years old. He was on oxygen. He had some signs of dementia, or he was diagnosed with dementia because he had confusion, which could be his oxygen, could be dementia. If you're low on oxygen, you have signs of dementia because you get confused because your brain's not getting oxygen. And Jessica and Vernal, the mom and dad of baby, said that this trip was his idea. And he refused to speculate on the disappearance.
Yep.
And he laughs when asked about the case, or laughed. He can't now. He did pass away in 2019 of cancer. So that could have been his dementia with the laughing, or that could have been him guilty feeling, knowing something, or it could have just been, I'm uncomfortable in the camera, right?
It could have been, but he said some other things that were quite strange to be saying.
Did he?
Like when he got asked a question, he'd say, well, what's done is done. And then 3 days later, he looks at his daughter, Trina, and says, so when's the funeral?
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's a kind of a red flag. But then again, people could poo-poo it off as dementia. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's confused. He is confused, I mean, you could legitimately, you could just be like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an old guy that's losing it. So that necessarily wouldn't have raised as many red flags as if me or you said it,
Yep.
I said it or you said it, and it was our family, they'd be like, funeral? What do you know? Okay. He died in 2019 of cancer, so we can't talk to him. Nobody can. If there's ever a court case, he's not going to be able to be a witness. He's no longer with us. Okay. Then there's Issac Renwand, Reinwand. He has slight developmental disability. He's Bob's fishing buddy. He's the only camper that weekend who law enforcement says hasn't changed his story. And Issac believes that Deorr wandered away and passed away someplace near the campsite. But they would have found him.
Yeah, you would think they would have found him.
I mean, if he was near the campsite, they would have found something, a shoe, clothes. But a diaper was found?
Yeah, apparently there was a diaper hanging from the tree when people was up there searching, and it was Trina, Jessica's mother, that took it down from the tree and threw it away in the garbage can that was provided by a church. I don't know why it was significant to say it was the church's garbage. But she did. She pointed that out. There was the church's garbage that she threw it away in, but she told law enforcement, that was the only diaper. So you're thinking, if there was a kid there, wouldn't there be more than one soiled diaper?
So while they were searching, she found a diaper in a tree, threw it in a trash can, and said, I threw it away because in this church's trash can, but there was only one diaper, and not thinking it was that kind of evidence, or?
I guess not.
But later brought this up or brought it up. I mean, that's just a weird thing. Like, when you be like, I found a diaper.
Yeah.
Did your cat hear me? Crazy lady in the computer. Yeah, okay, that's a little strange too, right there. Frank Vilt. Okay, so Frank. So the family hired private investigators. The family, right? This was the family, like the Deorr family.
Yeah, this one he offered to help him, free of charge. He didn't want any money or anything. He just wanted to find Deorr.
Okay. He was hired by the family. He's a retired U.S. Marshal, and he doesn't believe the family is telling the truth.
Correct. Hey, quit fighting! No, my cats are fighting.
I heard a cat. They're probably like, Ziggy hates when I talk to the computer. So they're probably like, what's she doing? Why is she talking? Ziggy's over there. He knows what's going on. And Ziggy started scratching his scratching post, and Lulu, my dog, my Yorkie, she thinks she's in charge. If the cat scratches something, she thinks it's not allowed because she knows that I tell him not to scratch the furniture. But she can't wrap it around her mind that his scratching post is okay. So if he starts, so he heard your cats, he started scratching his scratching post, and then Lulu got mad at him for scratching.
Oh boy.
A whole chain reaction. Well, welcome to Left Undone. We're all undone. Okay. So it's fine, Lulu. That's his scratching post. He's allowed to scratch there. Remember? We talked about this. So he thinks the family isn't telling the truth. Frank Vilt. And he says he thinks it's possible the family gave away or sold Deorr. And he resigned from the investigation, citing his mistrust of the parents' story.
Yeah.
And he wasn't being paid. He was just a pro bono, I'm going to do this because I want to find this child.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they got another PI, Philip Klein. He was hired by the family, and he actually believes the family killed baby Deorr, intentionally or neglect. So he thinks it could have been like they weren't paying attention to him and he wound up dying by neglect, or they actually killed him on purpose. And he also believes they're not telling the truth. And then you would put that Klein also makes a variety of accusations against family to media, and some digging into his background reveals that he doesn't have the best reputation. So he isn't really like the best, like the person that I would call and hire. He has kind of a funky reputation.
Yeah, people say, like, 'cause I've read like things that people said that he's out there trying to buff himself up and make himself look good and get all the credit and be a glory hound type of person.
All right. Then we go into the Lemhi. Okay, Lemhi. Steve Penner, Lemhi County Sheriff, lead investigator. He became the sheriff in 2017 by winning an uncontested election. So he ran for sheriff and won. Nobody contested it. And then there's Trina. Trina Beggs Bates. Trina Bates Clegg. This is Deorr's grandma and Jessica's mother. And then on June 22nd, 2016, her property was searched voluntarily. So they did search her home, huh?
Yeah, her home and the trailers, everything there.
And she was fine with them doing that. Okay. Then there's Keisha Wood, Jessica and Deorr's cousin. So like Deorr's like second cousin, Jessica's first cousin. She also took care of Deorr.
Yep.
Keisha. And she wrote some ominous Facebook posts that seemed a little like, what does she know? What was that?
Yeah, it seemed like what the heck kind of thing.
And then we have Lynn Williams, Jessica and Deorr's aunt, which is Keisha's mom. She went on an offensive Facebook post about what people said they had on her daughter and about her asking for $1,000 for him to fly to California to see if the little boy found was Deorr. So there was a little boy found at the hotel. Is that what that was about?
Yeah, I have the information on that, and it's later on in her timeline.
Okay. So there was some fishiness going on there with that whole family.
Yeah, the picture actually really does look like it could be Deorr, but like I don't know whatever happened to that because the cops let him go with the woman instead of investigating it.
Okay. So then you have the outline of the case, which is Deorr Kunz was a 2-year-old boy from Idaho Falls, Idaho. He went missing on a camping trip with his mom, dad, great-grandpa, and great-grandpa's friend. This happened at Timber Creek Campground, 30 minutes outside of Deorr, Idaho, at between 2:30 p.m. and 2:36 p.m., depending on whose story you believe. Because they all have a little bit different stories.
Yes.
Okay. So at some point, do you know the time when Jessica called 911?
2:30 to 2:36 on that Friday. Because if you read those different times.
Okay, gotcha. So 911 call was placed by Jessica, and her description of what Deorr was wearing that day he went missing, it doesn't add up. What do you mean?
I have a paper about it. It doesn't add up. Like she said that he was wearing pajama pants and a white t-shirt and his camel jacket and his boots. But then later on she said he was wearing a shark t-shirt and his camel jacket and the boots. His clothes just changed with her stories. And then she also changed her clothes in the middle of the search.
She changed her own clothes in the middle of the search.
Yeah.
Did anybody ask her about that?
I don't know. It didn't go in too much detail about that.
Okay. I'm just wondering. I mean, it's probably irrelevant, really, but you never know. I mean, if she thought she had some blood on her or something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I better, like, oh crap, there's blood on me. I better change. Okay. Then you had put how the search was conducted.
Yeah.
Was it conducted oddly?
Well, they got everybody out there, including 400 volunteers, and they did drones and ATVs and horseback and people walking, and they went into the creek and they even used sonar and stuff. Okay. And that was all fine and dandy. Then all of a sudden, they stopped it and they didn't want any volunteers to help them. And then they went back and started searching again, and they say they search every year. And there's always a hit somewhere or another, but then it never turns up anything.
Oh, yeah, weird. So once a year, they just go out there on the anniversary and search? Not have any evidence, they just go look?
Yeah.
I would think if he was was there somewhere at some point, a hiker, a camper, a hunter, somebody else would have came across something by now. That's just what I think if it was there in that area. But okay. And then you said searcher said the whole thing seems off. Like actual people that were searching were like, something's up. This is weird.
Yeah, they said that it seemed off. The parents were acting like there was nothing wrong. They were drinking on the tailgate of Vernal's truck.
During the search?
Yeah.
Like alcohol?
Yeah, apparently it was alcohol they were drinking.
While people were searching for their child.
Yes.
I mean, maybe if it was like, all I need a drink, I'm so stressed, but still a little bit weird. I think you'd save that for later when you were home freaking out on your own, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just speculating. But, you know, I mean, you do start looking at people's behavior and go, wait, what? Jessica and Vernal have written statements.
I don't know if you're still recording because my thing stopped and it says live and the time stopped and you're frozen, but I can still hear you.
It says live 32089. It's still moving along on my end.
Mine says live 2937.
Oh, you're behind me.
Yeah, because you're like frozen, like staring at a screen.
That might just be hopefully it's just your connection because it's literally recording. It's not online. But we're recording. Now you're gone. Now you're back. Where'd you go? We'll just keep going and hopefully it works. If not, we'll have to do it again. Tell me if I unfreeze on you.
I'll let you know.
I have a super fast internet connection because I have a soft phone for work. And so everything I do at work all my phone calls are through the internet. And so we used to break up a lot, but then I got my fast connection, it doesn't do that anymore. So I'm showing a good signal.
Okay. Yeah, but my picture's frozen. I moved my head, but I'm still. So I'm all frozen on my end.
Now you're frozen on your side. You're not frozen for me. I can see you.
Well, I'm glad you can see me, but I'm like frozen, just sitting there looking like I'm mad or something.
Well, hopefully it's recording the unfrozen you. When I release it, it'll be you like this or you actually like talking. I don't want to end it because we're so far in. We're 33 minutes in.
Yeah.
I think we're okay. We'll just keep going. Are you still frozen? Am I still frozen? Are we frozen?
Yeah, frozen.
Frozen.
I just heard myself talking to you back now. No, this is weird. I can hear myself every time I say something, and it's kind of annoying on my end.
Well, it started out like that when you first came on. I heard that. I heard myself too, but then it caught up and it stopped doing that. It just did it for like 30 seconds. Should we end this one and then go start a new one and do part 2? Since we're 30 minutes in, want to do that?
Yeah.
We'll just do another one. So I'll just be like, okay, we're done with this one and we're coming back with part 2. Okay.
Okay.
I'll send you a new link. All right.
All right.
So I'll do it. All right. So that's the end of part 1, and we will continue part 2 of Left Undone's exploration with Carrie of the Deorr Kunz case.